Hey everyone, it's Claudia, and welcome to Take a Moment to pause with purpose. And the does represent the new topic that I bring to you each and every week that I hope will give you a moment to pause, think about what I'm saying, and maybe be provoked to tweak perspective just a little bit, because sometimes the smallest change can have a lasting impact going forward. Each week I come to you completely dependent on the Lord. I've been doing that now for a while. He had to shake me up and say, Stop going overboard with the preparation and trust me. And that has been a major thing for me. But even though I was kicking and screaming in the beginning, I am in the place of just kind of rolling with things. And the Lord has shown He's going to show up and show off. He gives me a message to bless you. And so that's what I do. I wait on Him, and He never fails me. And He never fails any of us. So it's all about, transformation, trust. Learning to walk with the Lord in a new way and to grow in life, to keep learning, and that's what it's all about, because life would be pretty boring and stagnant if we didn't grow and transform. And it can be kind of painful along the way, but it's necessary. Um, for those of you that are new, I welcome you. For those of you who've been with me for a while, I thank you for your love and support. Each week you can find me on my YouTube channel, Take a Moment to pause with purpose, and on podcast stations such as Apple and Spotify, take a moment to pause with purpose. I ask you to like, subscribe, and share. That would mean a lot. It would also help grow the channel. And also, I invite you to comment. I've been enjoying the dialogue back and forth, and it means a lot to me. And I hope it opens the door for you to feel comfortable chatting with me as well. This week is take a moment to reset the story in your mind. I want you to pause for a moment and think about the story that's playing in your mind right now. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here. What is that story? Is it a story that you play over and over again? And could it be a story that has no basis in reality? I mean, what are you telling yourself? I'm not any good. I'm never going anywhere. I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm never going to have a better job. I'm never going to get married. I'm too fat. Um, Everybody's got a better life than I do. These are things that we play in our minds that aren't true. We beat ourselves up. We believe lies that have ingrained themselves from when we were children, very early on in life. Or we go through life and we meet people along the way that do not have our best interest, and they feed us this junk that we buy into, and it takes hold. And it's a story that we play over and over again. And I know what I'm talking about because I've done it for myself. I've done it for years. And it's been a journey to come out of that mindset, to reset my mind, to recognize that I have the mind of Christ and Christ has the best for me. God has plans for me. When you establish the fact that you are in Christ and Christ is in you, and take hold of that, it has a major impact on your life. It just does. And one of the things I fed myself all the time was that I'm not any good. I'm worthless. Nobody wants me. Now, I grew up in a household where I was loved. My parents loved me, but I bought into the intense discipline I got from my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt, and also the intense discipline from the nuns in school. And I was beaten up a lot emotionally and physically from the school. And I bought into that lie that I wasn't worth anything. I wasn't any good. I was stupid. And that had such a negative impact throughout my life. But I thank God that He put me on a path to come out of that because Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted. And when we accept Jesus Christ, we are made new. We are new creatures in Christ, and everything that He has for us is good. and it's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight unless it's literally a boom miracle that we get changed. I know that's happened to people in the past and it will happen in the future. But most of the time, we have to go through this journey of resetting that story that's in our mind. Now, for me, another thing that I believed for so long is I'm fat. When I was a kid, I wasn't fat as a kid, but I grew up in a time when it was the Twiggy era, and everybody had to be stick thin. Well, it's the same thing today. I mean, but I don't, today everything's airbrushed and people are look fake and are not real anymore. It's this figment of the imagination. And who says we have to be stick thin? Everybody is built differently. I am not a stick thin person. I have meat on my bones. But I thankfully, I have been able to resolve that issue and get healthy. But as I said, when I was younger, I always believed I was fat. And I remember when I was in my early 20s. I think I lost about 25 pounds and I was so happy. I was wearing jeans for the first time in a long time. And growing up, we weren't allowed to wear jeans. So I was just like, no. My mother always thought they were clothing for hippies. So we were not allowed to wear jeans. But I got into a pair of jeans and I felt I looked great. Well, I went to visit my mother and father on the weekend and my grandmother was there. And my grandmother had absolutely no filter. And she looked at me and, she said, "You've got a big butt." Well, I did not handle that well at all. I went off the rails. I really did. And I just lost it with her. I grabbed my stuff, I left, and I went back home to Connecticut. I did not stay. I was livid. But that kind of thing just stayed with me, even though I was not a fat kid. I just wasn't. I was normal. But I always believed I was fat and had a very bad self-image. And that was a story that played over and over again in my mind. And then just to fast forward a bit, I'm now a health coach. I've talked about this. I was on steroids for 4 years. I blew up like a balloon. I'm not going to belabor this, but I had to lose a lot of weight. I lost 60 pounds on this program. But there are days I look at myself and I still feel enormous. I still feel fat, which is not the case at all. I'm maintaining my weight loss. I'm healthy. I'm in size smalls. But my that old story that I play in my mind is still there and regurgitates every now and then. And even with the program that I am a coach for, one of the habits of health is resetting our minds. And I give that to clients a lot because it is a major issue for people, not only those trying to lose weight, but across the board. And I do this because we have to reset that story we tell ourselves. And then when we do that, when we make a conscious effort to reset that story in our minds, eventually it will take hold. And I am in a much better place than I was before. Another story that people tell themselves, and I did it for myself, especially coming into a career in acting. I started late in life. It's too late for me. And that story had started to replay in my mind very recently. I'm just too old to do this because most people start this career when they're young, and with children or in their teens or in their 20s. And I'm not in my 20s anymore. I am a mature woman, and it's like I must be out of my mind to do this. But that story was replaying in my mind. You're too old for this. And I started to get down and depressed. And do you do that for yourself? Is that a story you're telling yourselves? I mean, you can be, in a corporate job, and all these young whippersnappers come in who think they can take the world on by the tail, and they know more than everybody else, and they're very aggressive, and they come in and ready to take over, and they want to get promoted, and they'll step on anybody to do it. I'm not saying that there are not some very bright, um, promising young people that come in, but you got to pay your dues. You got to learn. Okay. But that has an impact when we see things like that happening. I mean, it happened with me with a corporate job too. I mean, I just felt I wasn't good enough, and that comes to the self-image. And I saw other people getting promoted, and I got laid off, and it just was this spiral downward. And it has taken years for me to reboot and reset my mindset. And I can come to you each week because I am retelling the story in my mind. I am resetting the story that's in my mind. And I've had to do this to be able to move forward, to be able to have that positive outlook, to be able to come to you because I'm very real with you, very vulnerable. I don't hold back. I let you know what I've been through because I find that doing that, being real with you, is an impetus for you to realize, well, she knows what I'm dealing with. She knows what she's talking about. She's been there too. And yeah, I've been there too on many levels in many arenas. So I come to you from a real place. I come to you from a place of experience. And one of the ways that you can reset the story in your mind is tell yourself another story. You just you just reboot and tell yourself another story. For example, I'm not fat. I happen to be perfect for my shape and my size. And one of the things that is a kind of a bee in my bonnet, and I've had conversations with my coach about this and others. When it comes to weight loss or health, we tend to force fit everybody into this microcosm of what a person at 5 feet should look like, what their weight should be, what their size should be, how healthy they should be. But everybody, I'm not built the same way of another 5 foot individual. I have big bones and I have big muscle. I take after my relatives on the other side where they were over 6 feet tall, and I carry a lot of heavy muscle and heavy bones. So I'm not going to be the 100 pound, 105 pound 5 foot woman. I'm just not. And we take these BMI tests, and it's to this day it says that I am obese. I am not obese. As I said, I'm a size small. And years ago, I did a BMI test with a doctor, and I was so frustrated because I wanted to be 120 pounds. And after he finished the test, he said to me, Claudia, you will never be 120 pounds. You're just not. You don't have the physical makeup to be that. You would be sickly if you were that. So he told me what my actual healthy weight should be, and I almost fell off the chair. But I still play that I'm too big, I'm too fat mindset because I have that, accepted body weight, makeup, and size and weight story that plays in my mind, even though I am helping myself get out of that and telling myself the new story that I am perfect for my height and my build. But it takes time. This is not something that happens overnight. Am I happy with where I am? We can always afford to lose a little bit more, but I'm a healthy individual. My blood work is phenomenal. Okay. And I'm comfortable with where I am. So, yay. I mean, it took years to get here. What's another story that you tell yourself, or I've told myself, is I remember when I got laid off, oh, nobody will ever hire me. Well, that's not true. I've been hired in the past, and now I'm an entrepreneur. I'm my own boss. Yay. So life has a lot of twists and turns, but we need to reset the story that we're telling ourselves. And when we do that, it's so uplifting. We get a new lease on life. We see things with a new lens. I'm using so many colloquialisms here, but it's true. We give ourselves I wear glasses, so we give ourselves new glasses, a new eyesight. We're allowing ourselves to see ourselves differently and don't play that same song over and over again. As I said, we're new creatures in Christ and we have to grab hold on that. And with that newness comes a different outlook. and we become lighter in our attitude and our feelings. And it's so positive. And that's what I want to help you do. I've had to do it for myself. I've had to get out of that negative mindset and into that positive mindset so I could tell a new story. So, what I want you to do is pause, reset your mind, stop telling yourself the old story because you can create that new story. You have the power to do that. You have the mind to do that, and you have the heart to do that. So take a moment to reset the story in your mind.